still don't like rain at night, not because of storms or thunder or flooding, but because of what I saw standing outside my house at 3:17 a.m., perfectly still, staring at my bedroom window. This happened when I was 22 years old, living alone for the first time. I had just moved into a small rental house on the edge of town. It was cheap, quiet, and backed up against a line of trees that led into a forest. No neighbors behind me, just darkness. First, I loved it. The nights were silent, too silent sometimes. No traffic, no people, just wind, insects, and the sound of rain hitting the roof. On the night everything started, it was raining hard. The kind of rain that feels heavy, like the sky is dumping buckets of water. I remember checking my phone before sleeping. 3:02 a.m. I turned off the lights and rolled over trying to sleep. That's when I heard it. A sound that didn't belong. Not thunder, not wind. Sounded like slow footsteps outside. At first, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe an animal, maybe branches, but the sound was wrong. It was deliberate, heavy, like shoes pressing into wet ground. I held my breath and listened. Step, pause, step, then it stopped. I lay there frozen, staring into the darkness of my room. The rain was still pounding, but now there was something else. A feeling. That deep, sick feeling in your stomach that tells you you're not alone. Slowly, I turned my head toward the window, and that's when I saw him. A man stood outside, right below my bedroom window. He wasn't moving. He wasn't holding an umbrella. He wasn't even reacting to the rain. He just stood there, soaking wet, staring straight up at me. I couldn't see his face clearly, just the shape of his head, tilted slightly back. His body was thin, too thin. His arms hung at his sides unnaturally straight. I wanted to scream. I wanted to move, but my body refused. We stared at each other for what felt like forever. Then, slowly he raised his hand, not to wave, to point. At my window, I snapped out of it and dropped to the floor, crawling away from the bed. My heart was pounding so loud I thought he could hear it. I grabbed my phone and dialed the police with shaking hands. While the phone rang, I heard something that made my blood run cold. A knock, not on the front door, on the wall, directly below my window. 3 slow knocks. The operator finally answered, and I whispered, barely able to breathe. There's a man outside my house. He's standing in the rain. He's looking at me. The operator asked if he was trying to break in. Before I could answer, the knocking stopped. I crawled back toward the bed, just enough to peek over the edge. He was gone. No footsteps, no movement. Just rain. The police arrived about 10 minutes later. They searched the area with flashlights but found nothing. No footprints. No signs anyone had been there. They told me it was probably my imagination. Maybe a drunk. Maybe stress. I wanted to believe them. But the next night it rained again. At 3:17 a.m., I woke up without knowing why. My eyes opened on their own, and I felt it, that same feeling. I didn't want to look at the window. I really didn't, but something inside me knew. He was back, standing in the same spot, same position, same stillness. This time I could see his face, or at least parts of it. His skin looked pale, almost gray. His mouth hung slightly open, like he was trying to breathe through it. His eyes were wide, unblinking, reflecting the faint light from my room. And he was smiling. Not a friendly smile. A stretched, broken smile that didn't reach his eyes. Slowly, his lips moved. Even through the glass, I could read what he was saying. "You didn't invite me in." I backed away, sobbing silently. That night, I slept with all the lights on. The next morning, I called my landlord and told him I was moving out. I didn't care about the lease. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted out. As I packed my things, I noticed something outside my window. Mud. Handprints. Pressed against the glass. 5 fingers. Long, thin. Like he had been standing there for a very long time. Much closer than I realized. I moved out that same day. Months later, curiosity got the better of me. I searched the address online. What I found still makes my hands shake. 10 years earlier, a man had drowned in that exact spot during a storm. Neighbors reported seeing him standing outside houses at night, asking to be let in. They said he always came back when it rained, and he always stood under bedroom windows, waiting. My brother Daniel used to call me every night, not because he needed anything, not because there was an emergency. He just didn't like being alone. Daniel worked the night shift as a security guard at a small office complex outside the city. It was quiet work. Sit in a booth, watch cameras, do patrols every hour. He'd call me around 1 a.m. just to talk while he stayed awake. Most nights, it was normal stuff. Complaints about work. Jokes. Silence while we both scrolled on our phones. But about 2 weeks before he disappeared, his voice started to change. He sounded distracted. One night, I asked him if everything was okay. There was a long pause on the line. Then he said, "Do you ever feel like someone is standing behind you, even when you know you're alone?" I laughed it off and told him he'd been watching too many horror videos. He didn't laugh back. Instead, he whispered, "Yeah, that's what I thought too." After that, the calls got shorter. Sometimes he'd stop mid-sentence, like he was listening to something I couldn't hear. I asked him if someone was messing with him. He said no. But then he added, "The cameras don't match anymore." When I asked what he meant, he changed the subject. 3 nights later, he didn't call. I texted him. No reply. The next morning, I got a call from his supervisor asking if I'd heard from him. Daniel never showed up to clock out. His car was still in the parking lot. His booth was empty. The police searched the building and the surrounding area. No signs of a struggle. No blood. No broken doors. Just one thing. Daniel's phone was found in the security booth. On the desk. Unlocked. With a single unread voicemail. Addressed to me. The officer asked if I wanted to listen to it. I said yes. I wish I hadn't. First, all I heard was static. Then Daniel's breathing came through the speaker. Fast. Shaky. "Hey, it's me," he whispered. "I don't have much time." There was a sound in the background. A soft, dragging noise, like fabric scraping across the floor. "I think it figured out the cameras," he said. "Every time I look up, it's closer than what the screen shows." My stomach tightened. "What do you mean?" I whispered, even though he couldn't hear me. Daniel's voice dropped even lower. "It doesn't like being seen." There was a sudden thump. The sound of something hitting glass. Daniel gasped. "I locked the booth," he said. "But it's knocking. Not with its hands." The dragging sound got louder. Closer. "I can hear it breathing," he said. It's standing right behind the door." The voicemail went silent for a few seconds. Then I heard it. Another voice. Not Daniel's. Low. Wet. Too close to the phone. "You shouldn't have looked." Daniel screamed. The voicemail cut off. I dropped the phone. The police said the voicemail file showed no signs of editing. No interference. No known voices matched in their system. They ruled Daniel as missing. Weeks passed. Then months. One night, around 1 a.m., my phone rang. Daniel's name appeared on the screen. Couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. I answered. At first, there was only static. Then a familiar sound. Breathing. Slow. Heavy. I whispered his name. The voice that answered wasn't his. "You answer too," it said softly. Just like he did. The line went dead. My phone showed a new voicemail notification. I never listened to it. Daniel was officially declared dead last year. But sometimes, late at night, my phone lights up by itself. No call. No message. Just a notification that says, "Voicemail received." I didn't realize someone was living in my house until I found the footprints. At the time, I was renting a small 2-story home by myself. Old place. Narrow stairs. Lots of corners where light didn't reach properly. The kind of house that always felt a little colder than it should. It started with small things. Food going missing. At first, I blamed myself. I work long hours, and I figured I was just forgetting what I ate. Half a loaf of bread would be gone. Leftovers would disappear overnight. Cabinets wouldn't look disturbed, just slightly wrong. Then I started hearing sounds. Late at night, when the house was quiet, I'd hear movement above me. Soft footsteps on the second floor. Slow, careful, like whoever it was didn't want to be heard. I told myself it was the house settling. Old houses make noise, right? One night, around 2:40 a.m., I woke up to the sound of breathing. Not mine. It was coming from somewhere near the ceiling. Shallow, rhythmic. I lay there in the dark, staring upward, trying not to move. I waited for it to stop. Didn't. Instead, it slowly faded, as if whoever was breathing had moved away. The next morning, I checked the house. Nothing was out of place, but something felt wrong. Later that day, I found muddy footprints in the hallway upstairs. Bare feet, small, leading toward the guest room. My heart dropped. I lived alone. I called the landlord. He laughed and said maybe I had raccoons in the attic. He told me not to worry unless something broke. That night, I set up my phone to record audio while I slept. At 3:11 a.m., the recording picked up whispering. A voice. Soft. Close. "I know you're awake." I didn't sleep after that. The following night, I heard the stairs creak. Slow footsteps coming down. I locked my bedroom door and held my breath. The doorknob moved. Not violently, carefully, like someone testing it. Then a voice spoke through the door. "I won't hurt you," it said. "You weren't supposed to notice." I called the police immediately. They searched the house. In the attic, they found a narrow crawl space hidden behind insulation. Inside were blankets, empty food containers, a flashlight. Someone had been living there, but there was no one inside. The police told me the person must have escaped before they arrived. I moved out 2 days later. Months passed. I tried to forget everything. Then one night, I received a text from an unknown number. It said, You left the light on. Attached was a photo. It was my new bedroom, taken from the corner of the ceiling.